Hi, I'm Naughty JoJo, also known as Joanna Meadows. I've been a longtime swinger. I'm a new porn star, and I'm about to interview with the Amazing Vito.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome. You remember you have the kids this weekend, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah, you have the kids.
Hey, folks, you're watching the Amazing Vito, and I'm talking to the one and only beautiful Joanne, who is in the swinging lifestyle. And for those that don't know what the swinging lifestyle is, Joanna, please explain what the swinging lifestyle is.
The swinging lifestyle is a lot of different things to different people, but it generally involves being open sexually within a relationship, whether you're married, boyfriend, girlfriend. And that means different things to different couples and to different individuals. At my life, it's meant a couple of different things. Originally, I got into swinging clear back in 1990, and I was married at the time. And for us, that meant bringing in other women. I realized I was bisexual and wanted to have girlfriends, and that kind of set me on a path of participating in the swinging lifestyle off and on all the way up to now.
And are you still like so? I mean, how does that I worked with a comic and he said something really. He always had a great bit. He passed away, Paul Smith, a while ago, but he had this great line where he said, how do swingers start? I mean, do they? I mean, how does that conversation start? Where you're sitting in the kitchen, uh, and all of a sudden you look over at your partner and you just say, hey, why don't we bleep, you know, other people, you know? How does that conversation, like in 1990 when your husband, who brought up the hey, I wouldn't mind bringing somebody in the relationship?
I did actually. We were pretty open-minded and already doing some bondage and a couple of things like that. I had actually had my first threesome when I was 16 with a friend of mine and a boyfriend. And then she also had someone, I would say a play partner. And we used to get together with like a play partner and his friend, and we would be with the one, and then we would switch, be in the same room. And so I started lifestyle, open sexual lifestyle stuff at a really early age at 16. So by 20, I was really realizing I wanted to explore more with women. And we were laying in bed one time after having sex. And I said, how would you feel if I looked for a girlfriend? He was like, well, am I going to get to play with her too? Or is it just going to be you? And I was like, I don't really know yet, but I'd like to explore it. And back then, really the only way to do that, because I wasn't 21, I couldn't go to any gay bars or anything like that. They have a newspaper out here called Westward, and they used to have the back page. And they'd have advertisements, men looking for women, women looking for men. So I put an ad for women looking for women.
Right. And right away, did you get?
I did. I did. And I met my first girlfriend, um, Heather, and she had been with other couples before, so that was particularly helpful. She, had some sensitivity as to the potential. It could be potentially rocky. You don't know what kind of jealousy you're going to experience, or the flow of things. So it did help that she had some experience with it. And my initial experience with her was just with me, and then the next one, I brought her home and into bed with my husband. And there was some momentary jealousy, but the excitement went beyond the jealousy, and she ended up living with us for a year. So, and from then on, I would have some girlfriends that I shared with him, and some I didn't. When I didn't share them with him, he really appreciated me coming home and telling him what went on, and then we'd have incredible sex afterwards, after getting him really excited. Um, and that lasted for quite a while. About 6 years later, I said to him one day, how would you feel about me having sex with another man?
What?
Yes, because before he had always been very, very jealous, no interest whatsoever in opening up that aspect of the lifestyle.
Like you being with another man,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And he said,
But
go ahead.
sorry, he was fine. He was fine when you were bringing women home, but when it was time to say, "Hey, you want to bring in a guy?" Um, yeah,
It
I
was
could see
very,
what you know what I mean. I mean, I
yeah, which is very common. You see a lot more people in the lifestyle where there are couples that are looking for a unicorn, which is a single female who's bisexual. And they call them unicorns because they're rare and highly sought after, but they're really not
are
that
they ever?
rare. um, and he was kind of like, well, who are you thinking? And at the time I had a girlfriend who was married. And I was like, well, why don't we play with them? This would be a couple situation. And he opened it up to it, and we had a good experience. So we joined back then with no internet. You had to join social groups, is what they would call them, which were just swinger clubs that you joined membership, and they'd have big events and bar takeovers and stuff. So we joined one called the Golden Circle and went to a big New Year's swinger party where they took over 2 floors of a hotel. Um, and it was very eye-opening. I would say that was my first organized lifestyle event that I ever went to. I think I was about 28 at the time. And it was pretty amazing because you could just walk in people's rooms, and some of them would have swings set up and different sex toys. So you could participate in voyeurism, or the opportunity to be an exhibitionist. And we really enjoyed it, really felt in our element.
Yeah, I mean, I had one of the weirdest things happen to me was the comedy club. One of the comedy clubs that I was working for, they said, "Would you be interested in doing a show for a bunch of swingers?" Because they rented out the basement, and I was like, "Hey, man, if they pay me, sure, why not? I don't care." And they said, "Can you do it? They want you to be naked." And I was like, "I can't. Like, there's no way. I am constantly in cold water, if you know what I mean." So I
Well, who wants to be laughed at when you're naked?
I don't I want them to laugh with me, not at me. Okay. So
Uh,
it was I was like, no, no. And they were really nice. Um, but it was really weird because while I was doing my act after, I was like, okay, they seem like they're ready to have fun. There were people having, sex, um, and one during pretty much during the show in the back, they were having fun, and it was uh, like it was to me it was weird, because it's like you don't expect that, but they were naked. They were completely naked, and they I remember looking over, and I remember they weren't wearing like protection or anything like that, and I was thinking, aren't you worried about, like, the whole time I'm up there, I'm thinking, aren't they worried about getting something, right? So
Definitely.
isn't that a worry? I know that you get, let me, if I could share this here, you'll have this on there. I wonder, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's got meeting up with me. Meetups are only in Denver. Well, that sucks, for
And I have since changed that. Like, I'm going to Florida this weekend, and so there's the option of meetups.
and
Where I'm
and
going to be
then
there.
and then DMs clear pics of your face, body, wiener, and how much they could produce.
Because of what I specialize in, my particular fat. So
Wait, what do you mean? What
facials.
you facials?
Yeah.
So like people
Going on my face.
ejaculating on your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then recent STD and COVID testing paperwork.
Hmm.
If I'm attracted enough, I will reply, and then the rest there, whatever. So, how let me stop sharing this. How do you how do you know somebody's not lying to you, that they did not do a test where, um, you don't know if they like have a disease. They could lie to you, right?
Definitely. So in the lifestyle itself, what you're seeing posted there is more directed towards meetups for people for filming potential content. So I am meeting porn industry standards. There's a couple of different, there's TTS, which is talent testing service, which is the big one. And that's who I prefer everyone to go through, because you cannot fake it. You cannot, I can look at an app on my phone and I can see your results. And then there's another lab testing that's also acceptable within the industry. I won't take just any test when it comes to any of that kind of stuff, because there are labs that you can walk into and they don't require ID. So I could be looking at anybody's tests. You
Right.
so I do prefer the two method. I kind of have a fondness right now for college athletes, because they're tested regularly through their schools for COVID as well as STDs together in the light. And then you will see the other groups that are not being cautious, that are not being truthful, and you avoid those kind of people. It's just like anything else in life. There you recognize the spectrum, and you respect the other people's choices, and you make your own choices for your own protection.
Yeah. So, so there's swinging clubs all over. Like if you were to go, like you said, Las Vegas, there would be a swinging club
Oh
there.
yeah, there's
And
multiple there.
so they're all over the US, the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's Colette's in Denver, in Dallas, rather. I think there's a Colette's in Austin, Texas as well. Florida has a large number of swingers clubs, New York. I mean, it is a lot more common than people think it is.
Right. Well, yeah, when um I was supposed to do an interview a long time ago with a swinger. And I've had a few, like the three that I was supposed to interview, and I'm thankful that you're being open and very like you're very truthful. That's nice. Um, uh, they've all canceled, or they've all been kind of weird, and
Yeah.
I just go, yeah, all right, whatever, and then the one girl that I was supposed to interview, um, she chickened out on me, and I just said, she felt bad an hour before the show, and I said, well, what, is everything okay? And she said, well, I'm worried that my husband would find out. And I was like, what? Like, your husband does not know. But what she was doing was, she was cheating on her husband. She had a friend, a guy friend, and they would pretend they were a couple, so they could go and swing, like meet other people and have sex with them. So, and she was doing that for, seems like, quite a while, and eventually I heard that she got caught, and got a divorce, and it turned into a mess, and kids were involved, and it just
And you definitely do see that in the lifestyle. It's interesting what brings different people to the lifestyle. Sometimes people get into the lifestyle to kind of a last ditch effort to save their marriage, because they're bored, they're having a problem. They're like, well, maybe if we do this, it'll spice it up. And there was an aspect of that towards the end of my first marriage, when we were getting into the social circle, and he let me have boyfriends and stuff at the end. It was you do see it quite a bit, and it's unfortunate, because then
so
it usually.
you think, by like, it's like, oh, our relationship is not good. Like, if we were married, and I go, see, I wouldn't sit there and go, Joanne, why don't we try and swing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, I just couldn't, to save the marriage. I just don't think that would be the way to go, because like you said, jealousy, unless you already have that mindset to begin with. I don't think one day, you know, after 20 years of marriage or however long, you just sit there and go, hey, you know what? We're bored. Why don't we try and save it by you having sex with is it your dog?
Yeah, it's a squirrel robbing the bird feeder
Oh,
outside my
it's
window.
fine. Man, is he on steroids?
He manages to cling to just this tiny little strip of metal because it's those old single panel windows, and that's what he's hanging on to while he's raiding the.
It's like a cousin. It's like a cousin I know. So, um, yeah,
But
like this to
I
save
don't
the
think it usually comes out as just one sudden conversation for most people. In my second marriage, we were monogamous for most of our relationship. But the last couple of years, you know, he was a very good looking guy. We were a good looking couple. We enjoyed going to bars and flirting with other people and talk, and we were very secure in our relationship with each other. So we weren't bored, but then we'd be really kind of excited from flirting with other people. And so we kind of started talking about, well, you know, would we be comfortable maybe having sex in the same room as somebody else having sex? And because I'd done it before, it was a lot easier to facilitate. But I think a lot of people ease into it because they'll find themselves in a situation where they're excited with other people, and maybe they've been drinking a little bit or doing a little bit of recreational drugs, and then it comes up, and then it, you know, with the realization that later when they're sober, maybe they explore the conversation a little bit more. I know some people who go to therapy where the couples therapist is like, well, you know, hey, if one of your complaints is your sex life is unsatisfying, you know, what are your options for that? But I usually think it's the result of one partner having a greater open mind about it.
Right. Yeah.
And at my age, I just know more people who have been in the lifestyle since they were younger and have been in the lifestyle for decades.
For decades.
Yeah. And it works for some couples, but it doesn't for others. It's funny. My boyfriend right now, I actually met him on Cassidy, and it was very different. I had always, you know, we'd played with some couples, but I had never been in an MFM. I had never been with two men at the same time, but I'd had tons of threesomes with other women and the single men. And then my last partner, who I discovered Cassidy with, he gave me my first MFM. And then this partner is very different. He lives in Maui, so we have a long distance relationship, which complicates things. He is all about, he loves the stag vixen situation.
The
And
what?
stag vixen.
What's
So
that?
it's there's two similar situations: stag vixen and hot wife. A hot wife is where the guy likes the girl to get all dressed up, to go out, pick up men or meet men, have sex with them, come home and tell them about it, or occasionally watch. Stag vixen likes to participate. They want to be there for it. They still, like, he still has sex with me, but he loves watching 6, 7 men at me blow 6, 7 men and have them all come on my face. So that's a very different lifestyle pursuit for me from what I've been in the past. And honestly, I'll probably never go back. I don't think I'll ever want to be in a lifestyle relationship where it's only about bringing women home for my partner anymore. I've really enjoyed the group thing has been very exciting for me, and that's fed the filming thing. It's really fed my I've always been a voyeur, and I've always been a bit of an exhibitionist, and it's just taken it to a whole new level. And his excitement is so genuine, and when everything's done afterwards and we're all clean up, the bonding that occurs between the two of us, it is just, which I have also experienced in the lifestyle after other play, and other couples describe it. This unique bonding takes place between the two of you that's very loving. It's like aftercare for BDSM, where you are together and you talk about it, and you just realize that you've had an exceptional experience with this person that you haven't had previously in your life. And it's, for me, it's the best part. I enjoy the sex, it's exciting and everything, but I love the bonding afterwards and laying together and just feeling this unique connection to this other person.
Right. Well, that yeah. Do you, yeah, I'm just fascinated with it. That's why I'm asking you these questions. Um, is there any time that you've uh, like regretted being with somebody that you just thought, oh, this person is just not.
Absolutely. My previous relationship, my partner was just dishonest, completely dishonest. He was a narcissist. He was a liar and a cheater. And he's considerably shorter than me. He's bald. He's okay on an attractive level, but he doesn't have the same physical value in the community. And unfortunately, that is one of the things you see a lot in the swinger community. You see a lot of not so attractive men with beautiful women, and usually money is part of the factor.
Yeah.
So it made it difficult to find comparable couples where I could find where the man was attract. I was that it's generally rough in the lifestyle anyway for two people to find two people that are together for all four to be attracted to each other. I think it's more difficult than finding a unicorn personally, because just the more people you add to the mix. So there would be lots of couples where the guy was not that attractive and the woman was hot, and of course that's who he would want to be with. And it's called taking one for the team, where you settle for a
Yeah,
couple.
that's what the girl told me before. The other swinger, she told me that because I did a pre-interview with her, and she said, you know, I would always take one for the team. She was very attractive, and I just thought, wait, what are you talking about? And she said, I had to be with this 300-pound guy.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I've never taken that one that
and
bad for the
and she
team.
said, she goes, I had to take one for the team, and I thought, what the hell are you talking? Take one. You could always just say, I'm not attracted to you.
Which eventually is what I did. I only took one for the team a couple of times, and then I'm like, I'm not doing this. I am not. This is not an exciting situation for me. I am not going to fuck men I'm not attracted to, so that you can get a hot chick that you wouldn't get otherwise. You're not. I'm not going to be bait
Oh
to
yeah.
get someone.
So an ugly guy with a lot of money, always, you know, he'll have a good looking girl, go to these parties, and he'll sit there and go, I'll trade up with this guy
Yeah, more or less.
so I could have you. And uh, you know, I'm this little goblin. Uh
Well, it's not usually that bad, and my partner. He wasn't unattractive. He just was not like, he had a cute face and stuff, but short, stocky body, dad bod. Like I said, balding, but he was so charismatic and charming that I mean, all the women that he's been with are very attractive.
right.
And that's one of my weaknesses, charming. I need a lot of verbal affirmation in my life. So it makes me weak to charming men. I mean, we could go to swinger parties where women who wouldn't look at him twice when we were on Cassidy, he'd get to talking to them and he'd have their panties off in no time. In no time. And he was kind of known for
I
that.
have that skill too. As
It's
soon as
a highly
soon as
beneficial skill.
I have this gold chain and everything, and I walk in. As soon as I point to the girl, I'm just like, hey, me, me, and you, there, 10 minutes,
The panties are dropping.
and then not, about 11 minutes later, it's like I'm just like that was great, and she's just like, the God, that was the worst minute of my life.
Well, that's a short one.
I think he gave me stupid. All right.
Well, that does seem to be contagious.
So yeah, so that is remarkable what you're saying. And I that is this is a fascinating conversation. Um, yeah, you seem like a very sweet, kind person. Do people take advantage of that from you? Like just sit there and go, you know, she likes to sleep around, so I'm gonna treat her.
People have tried to. One of the things I really don't like in the lifestyle, because I've also been in the FET community, the BDSM community, and
Say again, the what?
fetish community and
Oh,
BDSM.
oh,
And one of the things I love about those communities is the importance of consent. It is huge. There's it's just it's a huge thing. If you there's a place called the Sanctuary here that's BDSM centered play center, and you have to go and go through a class and everything to understand the extent of consent, because you ask for everything. You ask if you can touch somebody, you ask if somebody's comfortable with this, you ask if you can touch somebody's whips or their play toys or anything like that. And you do not see that level of importance of consent in the lifestyle, which I really dislike. Unfortunately, like times at the ranch and party takeovers, because there's a number of, well, pre-COVID, there's a number of party groups here that will take over clubs and do private parties. Is that a lot of the men in the lifestyle, unfortunately, have not learned that just because you were there at a swingers club and that you are sexually open, that they seem to think that means that it's okay to touch you. And I find that infuriating. I've had scenes with, repeat offenders that I've called out, in the middle of, quit touching me, quit touching me. And it's a big thing that they're trying to do now when new members come in, particularly single males, is to make them aware of, hey, the women are in charge here. This is no different than, you don't walk up and put your arm, just because a woman's standing there naked, you don't walk up and put your hand on her ass because she's standing there any more than you would to a woman standing in public on a public street corner. And unfortunately, some of the longtime swingers and older generation of swingers of men don't follow those rules very well.
So
They
like
really feel entitled.
they'll come up they'll come up to you like if you're in a room naked and walk up to you and put their hand on their butt and go, "Hey, sweetie, how you doing?" Like
Yeah,
like that's what you mean?
yeah, yeah. Or I'll be leaning over to order something at the bar, and someone will slide their hand between my ass cheeks and grab my pussy.
Oh wow.
And it's pretty upsetting. There's the ranch has a lot of really good rules, which is one of the things I like. Kendall is the owner of the ranch. So they have all these it's a full restaurant upstairs with pool tables and a dance floor, and then they've got outdoor cabanas. And then downstairs they've got little private cabanas with curtains that you can pull, and there's different rules, and they've got open play areas, a big huge open play area, smaller ones. But it's, single men aren't allowed, no men are allowed to stand around and masturbate watching anything, which is a nice comfort factor, because some of the other sex clubs like the Mon Chalet here, don't have rules like that. If the curtains are open, you're welcome to watch. There are different signs for what kind of participation is welcome in the play areas. And I had an upsetting time where I was playing with one of my girlfriends and my boyfriend and 3 other guys, and a guy came over and sat down and started rubbing my leg in the middle of this, and it's like, at what point did we invite you? We're here in the public area so that you can watch, but unless I point at you, unless someone waves you over, you don't come over and sit
Oh,
down and touch us.
it's kind of like if you're on a team or something and the kids are, like not kids, sorry, I said, but if
They're
you're
not
sitting
kids.
there and then you go, like you're it's like you go, "Hey, you, come on over." That means like if you did that to me, well, if I was sitting there, that would mean I'm allowed to come over and touch you. Is that what that means?
Yes, yeah, yeah. People will, because one of the guys that we were playing with that time, we had played with before, and we saw him walk into the room, and we waved him over, like, come on over, come on over.
Man,
And
I'd be like, me, him, me,
yeah,
me.
he was pretty thrilled because he hadn't met my female friend at the time. But you will also get people that will uh, there are some people that are really good that are like, can I come stand closer and watch? I want to watch a little bit closer. Is it okay? Or if I come closer to you?
So voyeurs would come and
Yeah,
that would be their
yeah,
thing, right? So
yeah,
it's a very it's a multi-layer kind of thing, right?
definitely.
For different people that have different kinks, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, because they'll do a BDSM night where they'll have the cross, and they'll have people with whips and different, uh, different types of play in that regard. Everybody's there. to be able to explore what they like to do. And that can vary a lot. And then the rules between the couples can vary a lot. Um, Prior to this relationship, for me, being in the lifestyle was always about being a couple, always about playing together. I never wanted to play separate, never wanted to play separate. Some couples, that's all they do. They don't want to see each other have sex, or they'll go to the club together, but they go play in separate rooms, or they're more polyamorous, where they actually have other boyfriends and other girlfriends that they see regularly. My partner now, and I've actually struggled with this quite a bit because he is far away and I don't like him playing with other women. It's something that it has caused some turmoil in our relationship and that we're still working on, because on one hand, I don't want him to be celibate when he can't see me. Like, we didn't get to see each other for 7 months for COVID. And he
Right.
had a few play partners that he had before me, some single females that I was okay with. For some reason, I didn't feel as threatened by them, just because like they were an established part of his life when I came into it, because we were friends before we became boyfriend girlfriend. But the rules kind of evolved and changed with my comfort level, to where it's like, all right, it can only be couples and all this. And sometimes people will get into the lifestyle with a whole bunch of rules, and then as they get comfortable, they'll fall away. And sometimes people will get in with no rules and develop rules. um, and it varies so much, and that's one of the hard things about navigating the lifestyle if you don't communicate well, particularly for the single males. Because each couple's rules can be so different. If you don't make the effort to say, well, what are your boundaries, and what are you guys looking for, and what's totally off the table and stuff like that, you're not going to do well in the swinging lifestyle. You have to be able to communicate both what you want, and to inquire as to what someone else wants and what everybody's limitations are, because it varies.
Do you ever meet somebody like I interviewed Lisa Sparks, right? And she was the one who set the world's record of sleeping with in one sitting 919 men.
Whoa.
Yeah, and there was a competition, um, uh, like it was her and another girl, right? A girl from Brazil, and the girl, she told me that the other girl was pretty much a street, like a like a I guess an escort or hooker, whatever you want to
Prostitute,
call it,
yeah,
prostitute,
sex
right?
worker.
So, and nobody knows what happened to her or anything like that. Nah, that kind of bugs me because I go, I hope she's okay, because that
Yeah.
would be that would be absolutely horrendous. And she went up to 600 people until she quit, and that was her first time. Yeah, and
Wow, and
when
I'm just aiming for 12.
when you sit there, like, have you ever seen a person that uh they're not comfortable, a girl where she's not comfortable, but the guy is kind of
Absolutely.
forced her to come to these
Absolutely.
parties? Yeah,
Absolutely.
do you
I've
ever
been that girl. I've
yeah,
been that.
have you ever talked to um just on the side, just said, hey, you know what, you shouldn't, yeah, I don't think you should be here because this is going to mess you up?
We definitely. I'm very fortunate. One of the best things that the lifestyle endeavor has brought me is some female friends from the lifestyle who have gone through a couple of them have had narcissist boyfriends or husbands, one who was with one for 17 years. And he was the kind of guy that there are predators in the lifestyle that will get you drunk and give you drugs, particularly if you're a young, attractive woman, to the point where I don't think consent is really something that people can give. And they will prey on girls like that. And as a result, some of us women who are a little older and more experienced we will step in situations at parties where we, particularly if we know that couple has a predatory history and stuff like that, and try and say, hey, you seem like you're a little too messed up to be, you sure you want to be doing this? Because some of them are like, yeah, I want to get messed up so that I can do this.
Oh yeah,
That's my deal, is I want to get all fucked up on drugs, and then they can do whatever they want to me.
yeah, yeah.
And there are others that are like, I'm not so sure about it. And sometimes we take girls home and take them home
Good.
just to keep them
Well,
safe.
that's actually very, because I think there's a misconception of swingers just being
Happy-go-lucky.
not caring, good luck, have fun, uh, and then
No.
to hear that you actually said, I see somebody that's struggling that should not be here, and I'm gonna take care of them. That's actually a very honorable thing to do.
And it's a growing thing. The Me Too movement's kind of helping as far in the swingers, because I think more women feel like they can say something, because rape still happens in the swinger community.
Does it does
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
rape
Yeah,
in the
if a girl
swinger
is
community?
incapacitated by drugs or alcohol and someone has sex with her, that's rape.
Yeah, yeah, of course it is. Yes.
And it absolutely still happens in the
And
swinger
what the
community.
excuse will be, like they could
And
just
she
sit
was
there.
here for it. She was
Yeah,
the one
she
who
was
got
here.
messed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
she
just sit there.
signed up for it. No, no, she
Yeah.
didn't. And admittedly, that's a small percentage of the swinger community, just like it is a small percentage of the real world. The swinger community is no different than the general public as far as the kind of people it's comprised of. They're just sexually open. But you still get bad apples, and you still, so you are still going to have some negative things. Um, but when you get more of a community like there is here in Denver and stuff, and you get to know people, you get more women that are willing to talk about it. Some of the women that are in my group, when they're at the ranch and they see a new guy right off the bat, they will tell them when they come up to talk to you, hey, it's in your best interest if you do this and this and this, and you don't do this and this and this. And that, when I first went to the ranch 8 years ago, that's not how it was.
Right.
You didn't have as many women stepping up, and you see it a lot more. It's because as you develop that sense of community, you realize that you've had some negative experiences, other people talk about their negative experiences, and the idea is to minimize the negative experiences for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And
that's good that is hopefully that stops, because that's disgusting to do that to somebody. Uh,
yeah, well, I don't think it's any less likely to stop than it is in the rest of the world, unfortunately.
no, I know, but if we make it aware,
Yeah.
if you let it see before, if you could get away with it. I mean, I've been on the road with comics that cheat on their wives left and right. I don't, because I feel she's at home with the kids and I'm out here trying to make money. And, if I have a girl after the show say, hey, would you like to come party or, go out or whatever? I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. And everybody will think I'm a prude, or, I just want to go back to the hotel and watch, porn and think about what I could have done. But no, I don't, it's just not, I don't want to put myself in that position because it's not me. But
That's your ethics, and that's your commitment. That's what the
yeah, but then
commitment of your
I,
relationship is.
I see these other guys that, where they had a house, kids, and they're like, hey man, I'm getting a divorce, and I got caught cheating, and it's just like, you're an idiot. you know
Yeah.
you're a complete idiot. If you wanted to cheat, don't get married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Don't
or
don't make a commitment that you're not willing to keep.
like I've asked my wife, I go, hey, is there any way I could sleep with that girl over there? And she hit me in the back of the head and she goes, wake up. And uh you know what I mean?
I do.
it's not,
You
like
still get cheating in the lifestyle.
there is cheating in the life.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Oh,
my ex. Because because you do have couples do have rules, there are some people that don't care. You can do whatever you want with anyone you want, but those are not the typical couple. So for my last relationship, it was that we always play together. If like we had three major rules. If we're at an event, I don't ever have to come find you. If you're going somewhere, you tell me where you're going so that I'm not stranded looking for you. Um, and that was for both ways. And the other one was if there are females in the lifestyle, I communicate with them. If there are males in the lifestyle, you communicate with them. and no separate play, period. Those were our big rules. Um, well, come to find out, he's reaching out to females left and right. He cheated on me with all kinds of women from Cassidy. He was on dating websites, hooking up with women. I caught him after about a year and a half, and we did some therapy, and I forgave him, and I probably got 9 months of fidelity out of him. And we started stepping up more because I thought, well, if we step up things more in the lifestyle, he won't need to cheat. I was kind of naive in that way. I'd never been in a relationship where I'd been cheated on or lied to or anything like that. I was very, very naive in that mindset. I just assumed he thought the same way I did and was being honest. And we ended up having this amazing swingers New Year's Eve party at the Four Seasons down in Denver. And we had a bunch of people that we knew and a bunch of single females and couples and stuff like that. It was awesome. Well, about 2:30 in the morning, I'm like, where's Paul? So I have to go look for Paul at our own party, and he's in the bedroom fucking this other girl, which he hasn't mentioned to me that he was going to, didn't ask me or anything like that. So I was pretty upset about that. And then it didn't blow up. And then 2 days later, one of the single women from the party reaches out to me and says, hey, Paul's emailing me about getting together, and he says that you guys are comfortable with separate play, but from what I understood, you're not. What's the case? Turned out he emailed every single female at the party. Wow. So here we had this massive party where he had sex with all kinds of women and just all this great play, and it wasn't enough.
Lucky Paul. I mean, yeah. he like, so his mindset, I'll tell you what a guy's mindset would be. He would sit there. This is what he's thinking. We're swinging. You're having sex with males, and I'm allowed to have sex with females that you say is okay. But you know what? I'm gonna, if she doesn't know, what am I doing wrong? I'm having sex with other women, So, and that is, I know for you, it's like, no. It had to be a deal. We have to agree. But I'm telling you, for his mindset, he's thinking, hey man, I'm at a swinger. I see there's all this candy. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So that's what I'm thinking.
But for him, he was a cheater before he was ever in the lifestyle. He's never been faithful in a relationship. So I don't think that's what it is for him. I think for him, he loves the newness and the excitement, the shiny new toy, and the woman initially thinking he's amazing. I think that's what his thing is. And I don't think it would matter if he was in the lifestyle or not. Can we pause for a second? I gotta let my dog out.
Sure, go ahead. Go.
Thank you.
I'll sit here. Hey, folks. So I'm talking to Joanne JoJo, who is a swinger.
Sorry about that.
Swinger, and she let her dog out. So and anyway, so yeah, that is I think I could only go by what I think. It's, I guess, when you have sex with multiple people, some people are happy with it, and some people are like, I need the next conquest. I need to put another notch in my belt. To say,
and I would definitely say that was part of the problem for him. But it's not like he's the only one. Some of the women that I'm in the group of friends with, my tight-knit group, have gone through very similar experiences. Like I said, the one friend, 17 years she was with her husband, and they were in the lifestyle for 12 of that, and he still perpetually cheated. And she had looser standards than I did as far as, who he could play with and things like that. And then I had another friend who was in a 2-year relationship, and they got into the relationship in the lifestyle, and he did the same thing. And it's just, you hear a lot of swingers that are like, why cheat? You're in the lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't understand
that. You're in the lifestyle.
Like, why? That's very,
because they don't agree with the rules that you've set. They agree to them on the surface, but they don't really agree to it. And then they also have this resource of this beautiful woman that they take with them, so that it sets them up as kind of being safer than a single male to some people. What was really disappointing for me in the community is after, because just a few days after that party, I dumped him because I couldn't take the cheating anymore. And over the next couple months, as I was around people in the lifestyle, I found out that, hey, some of these women who have been nice to my face and have pretended to be my friends were fucking my boyfriend. And they knew that wasn't okay for me, that wasn't an acceptable part of our relationship, that he was breaking the rules, and would smile to my face when they would see me at the ranch or would see me at the party. And that was pretty devastating for me
Yeah,
to
that would suck.
find that out.
That would
So I stepped back from the lifestyle pretty hardcore
go let
for
him
about a year.
go let in what's your dog's name?
She's in. She wants to go out the front and chase a squirrel, so she can't go.
Okay, all right.
She's out of luck. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, that was just so the betrayal from the boyfriend was one thing, but to find out these other women that I thought were supportive in the community was really disappointing.
Well, of course, yeah. That's with anything in life. I mean, if you get it's like getting stabbed in the back, and um yeah, being lied to your face. I've had that. It sucks. You
It
know,
really does,
because
especially when they've pretended to be so, oh, I'm so sorry to hear, and
well,
then you find out the truth.
people are like, why do you take things so uh personally when people lie to you or whatever? And I'm like, if you're gonna lie to me, why would I have you as a friend?
Yeah.
You
Why,
know what
why
I
would,
mean? Like, why would we do business together?
yeah, why would I give you my time when I already know that I can't trust you?
Right. There's
Um,
a few guys that I've just, yeah, I've you want to punch them in the head. This day and age, they'll call the cops, but it's just you cannot. Uh, uh, People have no idea that I never understood people that go, yeah, I forgive them. Hey, what are you gonna do? Or they let it brush by. I remember a woman just saying, why do you have to explode on somebody when they and I don't mean explode. I mean verbally explode on them. And it's just like and she would always keep them as friends. These people that screwed over and she would keep them on her Facebook as friends, and I'm like, that person screwed you and me over, and you're telling me not to freak out on them and yell at them, and you know uh, she's like, what is it, what's the point of yelling or freaking out on somebody? I'm like, the point is this: I'm never going to do business with them again. So I could burn that bridge and I don't care, because I'm not, the bridge is burnt. Okay, I'm not going back.
well, and I will burn some bridges. Like my ex, with everything that he did, like for 3 years, I didn't speak to him at all, because I'm like, well, what is the point? He's a pathological liar. Well, the thing is, he had 2 young daughters that I spent 4.5 years with, that I was very attached to.
Yeah,
I
that's
loved a
very
lot.
hard. It's very hard.
So when my other dog died last April, I unblocked him temporarily to let him know, so that he could let the girls know. And he asked if we could talk, and so I did allow him to come over here and talk to me, but it was only because I want pretty desperately to have the chance to have some closure with the girls. But I realized very quickly that he's the same narcissistic liar,
Yeah, and
you
the same
know.
thing happened to me. Not like
And those are the people that you do have to permanently shut the door on.
it was
You just do.
a relationship that where she lied, and one thing I can't stand is liars. Like I just cannot, I can't overlook that. And just this constant lying. And then you let them in, you think they're going to change, and then you ever do this, you're like, man, why did we break up? And then you realize after about 20 minutes, you're like, yes, I remember why we broke up, because you're a piece of shit. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's like you remember the good times, and that plays in your head, but you should always remember those horrible times and why it came to what it came to. And if the person, I always believe in giving people second chances, okay? I do, but
Mhm.
after, it's like baseball. Yeah, I'm not a big baseball guy. I'd rather watch two flies have sex than watch baseball. But strike three and you're out with me. That's how I've always been. Like I have no time for uh one thing. I Honesty is important to me, and trust. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So if I could trust you, I don't care what you do, like what, but if you're cool with me and I could trust you, we're buddies, and I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
And people know me. They're like, hey man, this guy will give you a shirt off his own back if you're stranded, if you're in jail or wherever you are and you need bail, I'll be there. Okay. But if you screw me over, we're not
Yeah.
friends. We're not friends.
I get that, but I also get the forgiveness thing. I can't I can't carry around too much negative energy or too much, I would much
Yeah.
rather forgive and not forget, because I'm not going to get screwed over again. But for me, like, I've never been good at being vengeful or being vindictive.
Oh, I
I,
have. I am one of the most
oh, I'm
vengeful.
just, I even
I
like
The
the
one
ex that
guy, I
deserved it.
blew up his car. He has no idea the cops are looking for me. I mean, I I I literally am the most vengeful. No, I know what you mean. I
I just
but it,
can't.
to me, I just say, Joanna, I let them do their own thing. You
Yeah,
know?
well, they'll just destroy themselves with the all the Paul that cheating ex did to me. I mean, I really could have damaged him. I knew so much about him and with his parents and his business and stuff like that. I really could have damaged him. And of all the people in my life who has really damaged me, I'm still dealing with trust issues and things like that. I've gone to therapy, but this relationship I'm in now is the first one after him. So when you get with somebody else, you realize, oh, I have all this additional work to do from this asshole who fucked me up. I was this happy, confident woman before I met him. By the end, I was sure it was my fault that he was cheating. I was sure that I wasn't good enough, and that's why he had to lie to me. All those things that he did to me, and I still, I had an awesome opportunity just a couple months afterwards where I could have really made his life unpleasant,
Yeah. Yeah.
where his ex would have fought him on taking the kids and stuff like that. In some ways, I do think it would be better for those girls to not be around their dad as much because of the example of what he's setting of what a man should be. But I don't want to become a worse person because of my contact with a bad person and my bad
Yeah.
experience.
Well, that's good that you're doing that. That's something I'm learning. I'm sure when I'm on my deathbed in about 2 weeks from now, just
But
I'll try and grab the phone. I'll be like, I should call and just tell them that you suck,
yeah.
and then just so. Um,
Because I'm friends with all my exes except for that one and one other one that was pretty
well,
bad.
you seem you're very kind. Um, I think people think, oh, swinger, ooh, like, oh, you must, every second, uh, sex every second. Um, but okay, so how does your typical okay, so how did you go from the swinging lifestyle and now you say you're in the adult industry? How did that go about?
Well, that's my boyfriend likes to take pictures. He's a good amateur photographer, and he wasn't my boyfriend yet. I'd gone out to visit him in Maui, and he wanted to do this. He had seen this champagne bukkake shots on Instagram,
The
and he's
what?
like, champagne bukkake, where they literally pop champagne and
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
kind of a thing at the time on Instagram. So he was like, well, let's do this. And so we did that. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do some BDSM bondage type pictures too. How do you feel about that? And so we did some of those pictures. We did a rooftop shooting at Golden Hour with the champagne bukkake, and we did some duct tape stuff. And then we did a shot at an industrial building. We did a shoot for that and decided to try some public peeing for that one. And started putting it on.
Public peeing?
Oh
We
yeah, yeah. Public peeing is a huge thing these days.
Yeah, I pee all the time. What do you mean,
Yeah,
like
but
pee in front of
you don't
people?
out in public, and you don't pee on people. Golden showers is a really big thing.
Oh, you do that?
I do. I prefer to be the one peeing rather being peed
Sure.
on.
God, if we had to flip a coin, that would suck. I would be like, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're gonna pee on me? Wait a minute. Let's try it again. Ready?
Oh,
Roll it. All right. No,
yeah.
I'll be right
Oh.
back. Just give me a sec. I forgot something in the car. Just give me 1 sec. Hold on to that pee. I,
Well, the thing with urine, unless you've got a UTI, urine fresh out of the body is essentially sterile. So it's very different than, like, some people do scat play with feces, and I have no interest in that. Urine, I've got a healthcare background, so I wasn't
so
worried about the health
the
aspects of it.
the urine is clean.
Yeah,
I thought
there
it
is
was
bacteria that
waste.
live within your urine, but it's not until urine is out of your body and exposed to air and starts to decompose, unless you have a urinary tract infection or a kidney infection, it's essentially sterile.
Okay.
So it's,
And a person will sit there and go, Joanna, you
oh,
want
I've got a video on my many vids for sale where one of my a previous submissive is laying on the ground and I'm standing over and peeing on his face, and it sells.
and
And I have pee compilations where, because I'll go hiking and I'll stop and I'll selfie video peeing. I pee on my front porch sometimes because I've got cars driving. Anything that's the risk of getting caught is a very exciting thing for a lot of the fans that follow that. So I've got 2 videos that are just pee compilations from me peeing in places in public, and they sell pretty well.
so people purchase these.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
So
And
that's
then
how we got started. And then once we did that, I did like a little mini gangbang. I had 3 BBC friends that I had played with
what's BBC?
separately. Big
Like,
Black Cock.
okay, all right.
And
I've got,
I,
I know exactly what that is. I suffer
oh,
from that. I'm,
and
I'm known as, I'm known as the tripod.
not,
What?
yeah, I know a few of those.
So you had sex with 3 black huge men.
Yes, with my boyfriend at the time, and we filmed it all, and so that was my first film, and I started moving more towards that. We did that little mini game bang, and then we started organizing the blow bangs, and I did a 4-guy blow bang, and then a 6-guy, and then an 8-guy blow bang, all of which we pulled the teams together and did ourselves in hotel rooms, and I sell those as well on many vids.
So it was having having a fellatio with 8 men.
Hmm.
Aren't don't